Welcome back to Rich Words Music. It's almost the end of the year that has been 2025. It's been a great year for gear, it's been a great year for music, and of course, for the fifth time now, I just had to bring back my good friend, Mr. Leigh Fuge, to talk about it all. Welcome.
Thanks for having me again. Is it really 5 times now?
Well, I looked last week at last year's one, and I said this is the 4th time, so I'm guessing this is the 5th.
Oh, okay.
Unless I counted wrong last time, but I think we've been doing this for 5 years now, which is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah. That is pretty mad.
Yeah.
So I guess the first one we did would have been the end of 2020 by that record?
Or 21, because this is 25, 21. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. 2021, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
There's been a lot of gear come and gone in that time, but just to start things off, how has 2025 been for you? Been a good year? Vintage year for gear or an average year?
It's been really good, actually. I've had quite a lot of really cool gear discoveries this year. A couple of things like new products that have come onto the radar, but I've also acquired a few things that have been quite cool for my own collection. Yeah, I think it's been quite an exciting year. I've quite enjoyed the gear discoveries in 25. How's it been for you?
It's been an interesting year and a slightly different year. Like, I think this year what's changed for me more than in previous years is that I've slightly gone more in the digital direction than I used to. Like last year, I picked up a ToneX 1, and that kind of changed my perceptions about the possibilities of digital stuff. And this year I've tried more, and I think you're probably going to see reflected in the list that we're going to get to, that there is more digital gear in it. And by contrast, in terms of analog gear, there's probably going to be less, which is maybe sad, maybe not, but we'll find out.
Interesting. Rich has gone digital.
Yep, exactly. So we should get straight into it. But one thing I want to say is that I just watched the video that we did last year to kind of prep myself for this. And at the end of the last one, I said, what do you think is going to happen in 2025? And what we both said is that we thought that Yamaha were going to come out with a more affordable Pacifica guitar, which they didn't, or they haven't, as of time of filming this. But the other thing that you said, which turned out to be incredibly perceptive, was that you think that it's about time that Line 6 came out with something new in the world of the Helix. And lo and behold, mid-2025, the Helix Stadium appeared. Now, I don't know if you had insider knowledge, and this amounts to insider trading or anything like that, but either way, very, very good guess or very, very good knowledge. So you got that one spot on. So well done.
So I actually didn't know. I'd asked the question, and I was just told, watch this space, which
watch this space
usually means yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't officially find out that there was a follow-up to the Helix until, I guess it was maybe like May or June this year. So obviously a couple of months before it was public, I saw one on a call. I was told I had to sign an NDA at the time because it wasn't public knowledge. And I was shown one on a Zoom call. I still to this day haven't played one, and I've never seen one in real life. But I was shown one on a video call maybe 5 or 6 months before they came out. So
wow. I'm genuinely shocked. So I found out about the Helix Stadium at NAMM this year, although I shouldn't have, and I think my Yamaha contact, who shall remain nameless, sort of let it slip by mistake in saying that there is going to be one. I didn't get the name Stadium, but I got kind of what it was going to be. Yeah. And then, I got to play one in September at the Guitar Summit in Mannheim in Germany. And I think we'll probably mention the Stadium at some point during the rest of the video, but that could be within the new digital modeling sort of section that we're going to do. But anyway, great guess on that. So full marks to you straight away. But
thank you.
Yeah, let's kick off with gear from 2025 then. And we'll start, as we always do, with the most exciting thing possibly, which is electric guitars. And kick us off. Have you got a guitar this year that really won your heart?
So there's been a couple. There's been two guitars that I've acquired in the last few months that have been very, very impactful acquisitions to my own collection, and also something that I acquired which isn't a new piece of gear, but it was kind of a bucket list piece of gear for me.
Okay.
I'll start with something that you're not going to be surprised what I pull out here. You can probably guess what this guitar is going to be.
Is it pink?
It might be.
Yes, yeah.
The Henry's Music ST1.
Yeah.
I mean, this has to be on the list because this is the thing that for the last 4 months, me and you have probably spoke about more than anything else. So this was kind of always destined to be on the list since we found this at Gear Street, and yeah, this was an instant kind of hook for me. This is the exact one that was at Gear Street as well.
I remember you saying, like, using it in videos, and you were like, you tried a couple of the others. There was a black one that you tried that was good, but every time you picked up that specific pink one, you were like, I don't think I can leave Gear Street without this guitar. And luckily enough, you didn't. And it is an amazing guitar. I've also played it, of course, and I know how good it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was speaking to the guys from Henry's at Gear Street, and they said, "Oh yeah, no, we'll get one over to you," and I was like, "No, I want that one. I want the one that is here. That's the one that kind of, because I'm a big believer in, even with mass-produced guitars, there's a lot of consistency, but there's also tolerances, and sometimes you can play a guitar and it's like maybe 5% better than other guitars, but that 5% is the thing that makes it really special." And I kind of feel that this had that thing. Like, this had that extra 5% that I was looking for compared to the other ones that were there. Not that the other ones weren't good, but there was just something about this one that, as soon as I played it, it's like, yeah, that kind of needs to be my guitar now. So.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you mean. It's like you could have a wall of 2025 standard Mexican-made Fender Strats, all with identical specs, but they'll all play slightly differently. They'll all have slightly different weights. They'll feel a little bit different, and there will be one or two that you'll click with straight away. And so that totally makes sense. And I've had it happen before in Germany a couple of times where I've tried out a number of guitars and ended up saying, okay, I'm going to buy one, taking it to the sort of the cash register and saying, I'd like this one. And they're like, okay, just have a coffee. We'll get you a drink and you can sit down while we get the guitar from the warehouse. And I'm like, no, but I want that one. And they're like, yeah, but we get you a fresh one, with the plastic still on it. It's perfectly new. And I'm like, no, but I tried this one and I want this one. And they don't really understand that. And I find that kind of odd, because I'm like you, like, sometimes when you pick up an instrument, it just clicks, and that's the one that you've got to have. Not one with identical specs on paper, but that one. And this is exactly what happened to you with this guitar.
Yeah, exactly. This was just that instant, like, I need that in my life. And since then, I've used it for countless gigs. It's been all around the UK with me, and it's been a pretty good workhorse, actually. It actually took me 3 months to actually make a YouTube video on it, because it ended up going out on tour and just not coming home for 3 months. So yeah, that's been a very good acquisition for me.
No, that's awesome. And I don't have a Henry's guitar at home at the moment. Like, I had to give one back, unfortunately, the Fury model, the kind of Super Strat model that they do. But every year at Gear Street, there's kind of a brand that comes out of nowhere and just appears as if from the ether and kind of wins everybody's heart. And Henry's did that this year. They had so many great guitars, so many different models, and the pricing is so good. And the people behind the brand as well, they're all so nice. And they were the major winners this year, I thought. And
also, it's worth noting that today, the day that we're actually, I know this isn't the day this video is going out, but today, the 8th of December, is actually the day that they've just dropped their new line of guitars as well.
Yes, exactly. So the model that you have is now discontinued because they've upgraded it effectively. So there is a new like Mark II of it. I don't know if there are still going to be any left of the ones that you have, but
they've been running a sale. I'll
put links down below anyway, just in case. Yeah, they were like 15% off or something. So yeah, very, very affordable guitars. But like, I mean, what's the price on those ones? Was it like €899 before the reduction?
I think it was like €699.
€699, yeah. So
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I remember working out that in the UK it would have cost about £550, something like that. So it's crazy money. That's of guitar for the money. Yeah,
because you get like a nitro finish on the neck, roasted maple, really decent weight, really decent playability, great pickups, great hardware. Yeah, those are just really good guitars. And I think if I'd had that guitar at home with me, and I am waiting for the kind of Mark II of the HSS S-Type to do videos with, then that could have been on my list. Because I've kind of been on a journey the past few years looking for a sort of sub €1,000 HSS workhorse that I can do everything with. Because with an HSS Strat Type, you can cover all sorts of ground. And that leads me quite nicely into my first and kind of major guitar pick of the year. I wonder if you can guess what I've gone for. It's going to be a bit harder than the Henrys, but it's a brand that was at Gear Street.
Is it something Ibanez?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there you go. That was easy. It's the It's the 2025 Ibanez AZ or AZ if you're in America standard. So this is even more affordable than the Henrys. This is like 550 euros where I come from.
Yeah.
500 pounds where you are, maybe.
I think they're 400 and something in the UK.
Yeah,
like 470 or something like that.
Yeah, again, so very much like an affordable take on this kind of guitar, and it is like an AZ but made in a more affordable way and made in Indonesia. So you've got the humbucker, the 2 single coils, loads of different pickup switching options, roasted maple neck, jumbo frets, all of the tones that you could ever want to play musically, locking tuners and so on. This guitar has been a real workhorse for me, and like I haven't played live at all this year. Generally, I make a YouTube video every week, and I'll use different guitars for lots of them. But I was talking with Dan and Mark from Ibanez recently, and I worked out that I'd used this guitar in about 30 videos this year. Like,
wow.
I do a lot of stuff with pedals, and normally I'll take my Tele and my Les Paul to give single coil and humbucking tones so you can hear a bit of everything. But with this guitar, it's kind of a one guitar fits all, because you've got the single coil neck and middle pickups, and then you've got the humbucker in the bridge that you can also split down. So this guitar has been doing pretty much everything for me this year, and for that reason it just it has to be on this list. And there's a double humbucker equipped version as well if you want to do more metal-y stuff, but they're just great solid guitars, and for this price point the value for money is through the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, I shot some stuff with one of those earlier this year. I went up to the Ibanez kind of distributor in the UK and spent a day with those guitars, and they are fantastic guitars. Like you wouldn't guess that they sit at the affordable price they do.
Yeah, they are just I think compared to the next cheapest AZ model that Ibanez do, which would be a premium, they're about half the price or something like that. I think you go to about 1,100 in terms of euros afterwards. And of course, you know,
sounds about right.
Yeah, they have to cut corners on these. You don't get everything that you get with a premium. Of course you don't. But for this price point, again, like it's so good. And with the law of diminishing returns, like this guitar is definitely not 50% of the guitar that the premium is, for example.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a great choice. And it's really rather interesting that we've both gone for an HSS, affordable sort of Strat type guitar.
Yeah.
What we should really do is battle the two of them out at some point. But I don't know
could be
who'd win
interesting.
that. Yeah, because like I think the Ibanez is definitely a more modern leaning HSS than the Henrys.
Yeah,
and obviously
that particular Henry's definitely, but I think the new Henry series is a little bit more modern feeling.
Really? Interesting.
I'm pretty sure, because they did have some of the prototypes at Gear Street, but I can't fully remember, but I'm sure that they're slightly different feeling compared to the original ones.
Yeah, I played one a little bit at Gear Street, and I had a strum at Guitar Summit as well, and yeah, perhaps they are a bit more modern feeling, but I haven't played them enough to really know that.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
really
same.
looking forward to trying those. Perhaps when you get one of the new ones, as I'm assuming you will, you can do like a shootout
Hopefully.
between the two. That'd be quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool, yeah.
So that's a great way to kick off this video, really. Two really rather affordable HSS guitars. We've covered pretty much everything. But you said there was a second guitar that was up there for you. What was it?
There was. So I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to do a bit of a throwback now. I'm pretty sure. It's at the back of the room. One of the guitars that I would have talked about the first time we did this video would have been the Schecter Nick Johnston guitar that I would have acquired the year that we did the first video. Yeah. Which is also pink. But only a few weeks ago, and this is so new to the collection that I haven't actually shot a full video on this yet. I've used it in a couple of other videos, but it hasn't had its own video yet. And that is recently Schecter sent me the 10th anniversary Nick Johnston model.
I've seen this guitar in your videos, and I wondered what it was. Okay, so that's what that is.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the new one. This is just utterly phenomenal. This has been one of the, probably, to be honest, one of the best S-type guitars I've ever played.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're slightly more expensive than the original Nick Johnstons. I think these retail like closer to like 1,100. But what they've done is they've taken like the USA model, which is like $3,000, and they've ported over some of the specs to an Indonesian-made guitar. So you've got the USA humbuckers, or humbucker and single coils. So it's the same pickups as the expensive one.
Yeah.
But also a Wenge neck.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's the noise I made as well when I took it out of the box. And obviously the colour, like atomic violet. So
that's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, this has been very special. Like I literally haven't put this down for the last couple of weeks. So this is my other HSS guitar choice of the year. This has been a very, very cool acquisition.
Yeah, and it's kind of a Mastodon guitar now because Nick Johnston is now a guitar player in Mastodon. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose he is. Yeah, I suppose that's a good way of thinking about it.
So
Which is interesting because I don't really know any of Mastodon's music, but I love this guy's guitars.
No, and I was going to say, I don't know if he uses that guitar to do the Mastodon stuff because obviously it's like significantly heavier than what he normally does, but that would mean that this guitar is going to be suitable for playing some heavy music with, right?
I did see that he's got a twin humbucker version that he uses live with Mastodon.
He's using like a Silverburst one a lot, isn't he, with two humbuckers in? Yeah.
So, essentially it's the same guitar, but Schecter have obviously done him a custom pickup layout for that gig. Because I guess you don't really need two single coils to play Mastodon.
Most of the time, I would imagine you wouldn't, no.
But yeah, this is a very cool guitar. And what I found really interesting about this is, have you played any of the original Nick Johnston models?
Yes, the original, the more affordable HSS in shell pink, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great guitar anyway. Like Schecter really set a great standard there for what those guitars were.
Yeah.
But this one, and I said this to the guys at Schecter when they sent this over to me, this is noticeably better. Not that the other one is not good, but this is a crazy jump up in terms of like feel, playability, sounds. And they haven't made it too much more expensive. But I don't know what they did with the 10th anniversary ones, but it's a big step up from the originals. And the originals have already set the bar pretty high. So
the originals were or have been kind of on my list because I'm going through this HSS for sub 1,000 at the moment. And I've kind of had almost settled on them before these new ones came out. Now, I've not played one of these new ones. And I think they also go over just that mystical €1,000 budget price point, but they could definitely be worth a look at.
In the UK, these are like around the £1,100 mark. So I guess euros, you're probably talking like 1,250, 1,300 maybe. So a little bit more,
something like that. Yeah,
but you get a lot more guitar for that little bit of extra kind of price increase as well.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth checking one out, I think.
That's the one thing I wanted to hear, like how much better are they in terms of, quality and feel than the originals? And it sounds like, and I trust your judgment, that they might be worth the extra outlay.
I was quite surprised actually by how much better it was. Like I kind of had a feeling it would be, obviously it's different because they've, USA pickups, different neck woods. They've made a few premium changes, but I wasn't expecting it to be that much better.
Yeah.
It feels not too dissimilar from the $3,000 USA model. I've played Heading's got one in kind of like a is it like a blue or a green color?
Yeah.
And I've played that a few times, and this feels pretty similar. Not exactly the same, but this is like 80 to 90% of the way to the $3,000 version.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So yeah, definitely worth checking out. It feels different because of the Wenge neck, which is also like an open pour, whereas the original one is like a roasted maple neck with like an oil finish, or like a nitro finish, I guess. But with this being open pour, you can feel the wood grain as well. So it's a different feel in the hand. But yeah, absolutely fantastic this thing is.
How would you compare the neck profiles of the Schecter to the Henrys that you've got there as well? Like, which one would you recommend for someone like me? I'm guessing the Schecter is a much more modern feeling profile.
Do you know what? Like, I don't think they're too dissimilar. I think the Schecter is slightly thinner and it has a bit of a softer kind of fretboard edge shoulder, whereas the Henry's one is a bit more pronounced. But yeah, I think maybe like the Henry's is marginally thicker, but I don't think there's a ton of difference in kind of the neck sizes on them. And I think they're both, I can't remember the fretboard radius of the Nick Johnston, but I think it's probably about the same. It looks kind of flat-ish. Yeah, both worth a look.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so with that, with the Henrys and with the Ibanez, I think we've got all your HSS needs covered pretty much for that kind of a price point. Really interesting that we've both gone for those kinds of guitars as our main ones. My second choice would have been Henrys as an overall kind of brand who have just appeared out of nowhere and just been great this year. So I'll go to my third choice, which is another really affordable brand, and I don't have any here right now, but it is Hartwood electric guitars. And I know that this is a brand that you're also familiar with, Hartwood being a house brand effectively from the Gear for Music store. And, well, they make a number of very affordable electric guitars. I think my personal favorite being the Daytona, which is a kind of Firebirdy-esque offset with mini humbuckers. But you've got the Drifter, which is a Jazzmaster Jaguar sort of a type. You've got the Charger, which is another offset type.
That's the Charger.
That's the Charger. The pink one right there.
The Daytona is here somewhere, and the Drifter is at the back as well. So I've got all three of those here at the moment.
There you go. So you're sorted for those. I took like 5 or 6 of them into a room with Kranar Chilku, and I'll put links to the video elsewhere where you can see that we just went through all of these guitars. And what I really like about what Hartwood is doing is that they're making cheap stuff or budget guitars, but they're making them a bit different. It's not just another Strat copy or a Tele copy. It's like they've taken, with the Charger, for example, it's like an offset sort of a shape, but they've been inspired by Italian-built guitars from the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. It's got its own flair to it. It's got slightly different specs, slightly different necks, different pickups, and different bridges and so on. So they're just going to be a great choice, and they're something very different. Yeah.
They're also offering a lot of bang for the buck as well. I think like their guitars are all kind of like sub 300, and for like, you know, from the perspective of like if you're a new player these days, you can actually buy something that's quite unique, plays good, sounds good, without having to go down, you know, the road that we all went down when we were younger, which is buying a cheap Strat copy with a rubbish amp. You can actually get a very functional, playable guitar now for not much money. And Hartwood actually offers something that's quite unique as well. So if you're kind of just getting started, it's something that looks cool. It's something that kind of has a different vibe to it than just a black Strat, which is what most people tend to start on.
Yeah, it's totally different, and they have that inspiration factor, which is sorely missing from other budget guitar brands sometimes. But it's also like, I feel like it's great for brands like Squier and Ibanez to have this competition there, because it makes them think, okay, we've got to up our game a bit, because we can't just throw out the same old stuff every year. Not that I'm accusing them of doing that, but that they have to kind of make sure that they're on their toes and bringing innovations and new colors and new playability and thinking about what the modern up-and-coming guitar player wants. Because it's different to how it used to be 30 years ago, but you might not know that when you look at certain models and certain brands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So yeah, Henrys and Hartwood have both been great for me. Got anything else from the guitar front that you'd like to mention, new or otherwise?
This other thing, this is something that I've wanted to add to my collection for a long time. And this is actually an old guitar that I was lucky enough to buy this year. But I just want to mention it because it's been a bit of a gear highlight, which is this thing. And this is a 1988, which is, I'm giving my age away here, it's a birth year guitar for me. And it's a Japanese-made Burny.
Oh, wow.
And I stumbled upon this on eBay one day. And I was, truthfully, I wasn't even really looking for one at the time. I've always got my eye open for a TV Yellow Junior. But just one day, eBay happened to recommend this to me. And I just thought, you know what? Today's the day. I'm gonna go for it. I put in an offer. The guy accepted the offer, and yeah, I haven't actually really used this much on the channel yet, just because I haven't really got around to it. I should, but this is a very cool guitar. I'd kind of been after an older Junior for a long time, and yeah, this is kind of cropped up at the right time. And
what's the neck on it like? Is it a big chunky one, or is it slimmer?
It's in between. It's chunky-ish, but not like a 50s chunk. It's sort of like in between like the baseball bat style and just like a kind of a standard kind of Gibson neck. So it's a bit more comfortable than like the huge necks, but it's still got enough there to let you know that, you know, it's not a shred guitar. It's designed for, you know, pretty rough and ready playing.
Yeah, definitely. But that is a guitar that, like, I'm only seeing it through a webcam right now, but it looks like it's full of mojo and stuff. Looks like it's in pretty great player's condition as well.
It is. I mean, there's a couple of little dings in the rear and stuff. One of the things I got it slightly cheaper for is it has been modded over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll try and get a good close-up of it. But if you look just above the bridge pickup, you can see there's a slight, like, gap in the where the pickup meets the body.
Yeah.
Right along here. So at some point, this guitar was modded for a humbucker. But then before I bought it, the humbucker was taken out and a P100 was put in, or like a stacked kind of P100. So it's kind of like, you could put a humbucker back in, but obviously because it was routed, there's a bit of a hole there. So obviously that knocked the value down a little bit. The original P90 is lost to time, but it's not a P100, it's a staple P90. That's the word I'm looking for. A staple P90 is kind of like a P90 with a bit more like high-end fidelity. So it's quite snappy and punchy. It doesn't have the mid-range growl of a P90, but it's very kind of open and chimey sounding. But it still sounds great. Very cool.
Beautiful,
guitar.
Yeah, I love a Junior. And my very first video on this channel was a Harley Benton take on that exact guitar. It was the Andy Ferris Blue one. I don't know if you remember, but that they did a run in so-called Ferris Blue for whatever reason. And I still have that guitar. But yeah, those are just guitars where, like, you can't really hide behind anything. You pick them up and you just play them and you just have fun. Yeah, I love a Junior. Yeah.
That's what I love about it. It's just simple, straight to the point, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would say, big congratulations on that. A Berthier guitar is something I'd always like to grab, and at some point I probably will. But I'm also 80s, and even more vintage 80s than you. And 83 was not the prime year for that much in terms of guitars. Now, if anybody watching this knows what the best guitars from 1983 might be, then drop a message down there and I'll check some out.
I have a guitar from 1983.
What is it? And do you want to sell it?
A Tokai Strat style, which I don't want to sell.
Oh, is that like the breezy sound? Is that what they call them? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My one is from 1983.
Yeah, Tokai's the Japanese Gibson and Fender sort of style guitars seem to be the way to go, because Gibson and Fender weren't doing their best legacy stuff at that sort of a time. There is the odd thing, but like I spent quite a lot of time looking on the old eBay small ads, Burnys and Grecos and stuff like that, just seeing what might be around, because you can still get them for under $1,000 if you're lucky, and some of them are really good, but it's also a case of knowing what you're looking for, because some things are not what they seem. Yeah, exactly. But
that's it. It's just you have to be very careful, but there's plenty of good bargains out there to be found in the Japanese guitar market as well. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and very, very happy that you managed to get a good one. But the next guitar that I would mention is, unfortunately, I don't have it here, but it's probably the polar opposite to what you've got there, in that you had a vintage single pickup P90 electric. I spent a lot of time playing acoustic when I was younger. Like I grew up playing acoustic guitar, and I still dabble quite a lot. And this year I was sent by the brand Sonicake their Acoustic-Electric travel guitar, which is like, it's kind of a take on the Yamaha sort of travel acoustic electric ones, in that it doesn't have a body. I'll blend in pictures so you guys can see. But this is like a $300-400 thing. It is like, it's got a preamp in it, so you can play it via headphones, or you can plug it into a PA or a mixer or whatever. And it got me playing acoustic guitar seriously again. And the inspiration factor alone meant that it was worth putting into this list, because otherwise I just wouldn't have bothered. And it's made me seek out more acoustic music as well. Plays really well, has a bunch of different great sounds in it. And I don't know if you've tried one. Have you?
No. I haven't tried one.
You got to get one of those in for some testing.
Yeah,
I know you like the odd acoustic strum, and you've done a fair bit of acoustic stuff over the years. I highly recommend that one.
Okay, yeah. I'd love to get like, I know it's the complete opposite end of the pricing scale, but I'd love to get a really like high-end acoustic. But my problem is I can't justify the cost of a high-end acoustic, because I don't play it enough. But every time I play like a $2 or $3 grand Martin, I think, oh yeah, I'd love one of these. But would I ever play it enough to justify that kind of money? Probably not.
I think that's also
Henry's do some great acoustics for sub 1,000. So
I was going to say they have some great ones, but
Yeah.
maybe in the acoustic world, like if you want a real acoustic, it's possibly most worthwhile looking for an older vintage sort of mid-price thing where it's had decades of playing and it's really opened up and there's already a bunch of songs in there or whatever, and that could be the way to go.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe I need to get back on eBay and look at 1980s Japanese acoustics and see if there's anything in there that kind of catches my eye.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, the Sonicake is worlds away from that. It is nothing like that at all. And it plays kind of more like an electric. It's got a very slim neck. But that also makes it really easy. And in that way, I find it, again, very inspirational. And there's a couple of people in my family who just saw it and they were like, oh, I want to play that. And you don't see that very often. So for that reason alone, it's got to be in here as well. So I think that's all my guitar choices for this year, except for one that I haven't properly played. Have you got any more?
I tried a lot of, I guess, just kind of like an honourable shout out. I did a lot of stuff for G4M this year, Gear for Music's other in-house brand. And some of their guitars are great. Like one that really surprised me was this baritone. And I've never owned a baritone before because, and I mentioned this in the video, I always kind of thought the baritones weren't for me. And as soon as I started playing this, I kind of thought, oh, I wish I'd started playing baritone sooner because it's actually a lot of fun. And again, like kind of like Hartwood, like a lot of guitar for not much money. I think these are like $250 in the UK. And this has been one of the guitars over the last couple of months that I've picked up more than other stuff, just because I'm just really having fun playing it and kind of exploring. You know, it's a 27-inch scale, so it's much longer than most. And yeah, it's just a different kind of angle for playing.
Yeah,
so that's
totally.
been a lot of fun too.
What is it tuned to? And crucially, does it stay in tune?
This one is tuned to B standard, which is B to B. So it's B, E, A, D, F sharp, B.
Yes, yeah.
And it stays in tune pretty well. If it's in tune right now is a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of in tune. Because I haven't played it for a couple of days, so it might have slipped out. But no, it holds tune pretty well.
That's a very cool looking guitar. It looks kind of quite like it's destined more for heavy music. It kind of reminds me a bit of Rabia Massad's signature guitar. So I wonder if they've modelled it a bit on that. That
was the first thing I thought when I saw it because of the kind of like the burl top.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like those old school like Rabia Chapmans.
Yeah.
But no, it's a cool guitar. Like very, very fun to play. Like simple, straight to the point, but I've had a lot of fun playing that.
Yeah, I think I've already said it about 2 or 3 times in this video that I want to search for something, but I've got the same thing with the baritone. Like I've had that for the past 2 or 3 years. Like I've been looking for, again, about like a sort of €1,000 or dollar sort of price limit and something which is not too pointy, you know, not specifically made for metal, because a lot of baritones tend to be. At the moment, I haven't done a video with it yet, but I've got the Harley Benton Agufish signature baritone, and that is built for metal. It looks kind of like a single cut in a way, more like a sort of modern looking Les Paul, but it is definitely built for heavy music. It's a great guitar.
That's cool.
But I visited Henning Pauly last week and I had the immense fortune to be able to test out a guitar that's coming out in early 2026, which I think fulfills my baritone criteria 100% and might yours as well. So once we've turned the video off, I shall let you know. But yeah, when this video comes out, probably a couple of weeks till that one comes out. But yeah, baritones are a great way to just like expand your repertoire, and they give you a totally different vibe when you pick them up. Because if you have one which is in B standard, you can still use the same chord shapes. Of course, they're going to be different chords. If you make an E chord shape, it's going to be a B chord instead, for example. But you can already do it. Whereas if you buy a 7-string, which is a standard tuned electric with a B underneath the low E, kind of that, for me, it throws me off straight away. Whereas a baritone, I can just get straight into it and stick a bit of reverb and tremolo on there, and you're just in amazing sort of atmospheric indie sort of territory, which for me is lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to play 7-string. I've got a Vola 7-string here that's great, but I just, for some reason, the extra string just completely destroys me. I can comfortably play baritone. And the weird thing is, the baritone is tuned to B standard, and it's 27-inch. The Vola is like, I think it's like 27.5-inch, but it's also tuned to standard with a low B. So essentially the tuning and the scale is the same, but the extra string, just my brain cannot work it out.
Yeah. That happens to me as well. Just voicing normal chords just becomes a struggle, and it's something that I have to get into, but a baritone gets you there without having to relearn stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. I want to be better at 7 string, but I'm struggling. It's just for some reason I can't get past this barrier that I have with it, and maybe that's my goal for next year, is to put a bit more energy into it. But yeah.
2026, 7 string, and then 2027 can be your 8 string year. 2029, 9 string, and then 2030 is open book. Yeah.
Anyone's guess.
Never know where it's going to go.
Well, yeah, you never know where extended range guitars are going to go from here on. So
yeah, exactly.
Could get pretty crazy after that.
Yeah. Now that's a really cool choice. Now my final choice for guitars is also kind of like a honorary mention, because I've only literally picked up these guitars for 2 minutes, and I don't know if you'll have ever seen them in person, but it's the new range of PJD guitars, the Origin series.
Ah, okay.
They had these, I think, for the first time at the Guitar Summit in Mannheim in Germany in September. And effectively what they are is a more affordable Indonesian-made range of their, at the moment, Carey and St. John models. So their offset models and their single cut models, which are about, in euros at the moment, I think about 7,899. So again, comfortably under 1,000, that magic ballpark figure. And
I think they're about 800 in the UK as well.
Yeah, and when I went over to Leigh and the team and started talking about the PJD guitars, there were a couple on the booth, and I didn't even notice that they weren't the much more expensive UK-made ones, which is a good start straight away. And then they showed them to me, and I picked them up and had a bit of a quick strum, and they look and sound and feel just great. Really decent. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those, and I hope you get the chance to try a couple out in 2026 as well.
I'm due to get one at some point soon. I'm due to be getting a Carey. I'm just waiting for confirmation. But I've been speaking to Leigh and the guys over there about getting my hands on one as well. It's just trying to find the right time for it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but they look
I'm
very, very promising. Really excited to try those out as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because over the last 2 months, I've really fallen back in with my PJD St. John. I've always loved that guitar anyway, but you know what it's like when you've got a bunch of guitars, you sort of cycle which ones you use a lot. And then there's certain ones you don't play for a while, and then you kind of rediscover them at some point. I've just done that recently with my St. John. I've kind of picked it up, rediscovered it, and now I'm kind of playing it quite a lot again, which is fun. Yeah.
But the PJDs, they have this neck profile for me, which just works. And the Origins have that profile, and for me,
cool.
I just know they're going to work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so really excited about those. Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's me exhausted for guitars for 2025. What about you? Anything else?
It's probably the main things. I think we've kind of touched upon everything major there, I guess, that we needed to. Funny mention. Last year, one of your guitar choices was the Ibanez Iceman that you played, that kind of blue one. Have you still got that?
Yes, I have.
Right, okay.
Behind me.
So I mentioned on that call, and I'm pretty sure you already know this story, but obviously anyone who watched last year's video might not know this. I mentioned to you at that point that one thing I was thinking about at some point was buying an Iceman. I thought, I'm kind of seeing yours, and I thought, I'm kind of in the market for one of these now. Literally the day or two after we had that call, which is going back to last December, I bought an Iceman. It's at the back of my studio hung up. But I bought one of the gold glittery Paul Stanley models. So thanks to you, I ended up spending money before Christmas last year to buy an Iceman.
And was it worth it?
It was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But just a funny continuation of last year's, because you showed that and I thought, I really want one of those now. So I went and acquired one. Again, another eBay bargain. Yeah,
they can be had occasionally. Yeah. But the Iceman is such a cool guitar, and the IC420, which is the one that I still have, is one of the very, very rare guitars that I haven't sent back after I've made videos with. Generally, I give instruments back because I just don't have the space, and I try and keep things a bit kind of sensible. But with the Iceman, I haven't been able to give it back yet because it's such a fun guitar to just pick up and riff on. And it kind of it really confounded all of my expectations for what it would be, because it is very versatile. It is kind of a bit like a Les Paul in a way, but just with a radically different body shape. And it's so good for so many different styles. And it doesn't just have to be the Kiss kind of stuff, although your Gold Sparkle one kind of does.
Yeah, it needs to do that.
Yeah. No, that's a cool story though. So guitars covered. Let's move on to pedals.
Okay. Are you going first or am I?
I reckon you're the visitor. You can go first.
I'm drinking my coffee out of a Kiss mug as well.
Well,
it's a bit of a theme going on, yeah. Okay, pedals. The first one, I want to tag this on to last year as well, because last year I mentioned that I played a piece of gear that instantly became one of my favourite things I played. But I couldn't talk about what it was because it wasn't officially out until January. So I think I might have showed the back of the pedal on the video. But obviously now it's been out for the best part of a year, so I can actually talk about it. And that's the MXR Rockman. So this has been like, I mean, by a long shot, my favourite pedal that I've probably ever played. Because it's the 1980s in a box. It's literally the sound of every album I love from the 80s in a single pedal. So this has been something I've used so much this year. Way more than most people would probably like, but I love it.
I've seen a lot of people playing this pedal and it does sound really, really good. And it is that kind of, it's that Boston thing in a box, isn't it? And they've kept it super simple as well, and I really like that about it.
Yeah, it's basically exactly the same as the original Rockman, except they didn't put the echo circuit in, which I didn't think too much about, to be honest, at the time. But the comments that I got on the video, that was one of the things that a lot of people really felt that was missing, was the echo circuit. I'm not a big delay player anyway. So for me, I kind of thought, I'm probably not going to use it too much anyway. But yeah, there was a lot of people who were quite annoyed that MXR didn't include the echo as well. Because the original one had echo and chorus. This just has chorus.
Ah, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting pedal, though, because realistically, you're not really meant to use this into an amp. Like the original Rockmans, it's kind of just designed to be plugged straight in. Because it kind of has its own, like, amp sound, as it were. Because you've got, like, the 2 clean channels and the 2 drive channels on it. You can make it work into the front of things, but it sounds better when you just DI it. Which is quite an interesting angle for a pedal, because the instinctive thing is to put it on a pedal board and want to use it.
Yeah, it's
but yeah,
that's an interesting one. But this year we've seen a few pedals that have kind of done that sort of thing. There's been like the JHS 424 gain stage pedal, which is based on the what happens when you plug a guitar into an old Tascam 4-track and overload the preamps on that. Which that's another discussion entirely, and I haven't played that pedal, so I'm not going to include it in this list whatsoever. But it's one where I would want to put it on a board, but that's not traditionally where you would put the original device. Yeah,
it's kind of like a DI thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
but I've been wanting to gig this, but I just for some reason that information has prevented me from putting this on a touring board. Maybe I should try it at kind of band volume and see how I feel, but. Yeah, it definitely sounds better when you just plug it straight into like an interface, for instance, or straight into a mixing desk. That's kind of where you get the best out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I've loved this thing though.
Awesome. Yeah, you should definitely try it. And I think my first choice for pedals is also going to be one that came out or was released very early in the year. And it was launched for the NAMM show in January 2025. And I said I wasn't going to be a boring person and just pick overdrive pedals, and I'm not, but my first one is an overdrive pedal, and it's this one. It's the Marshall 1959 Super Lead pedal, based on a Plexi amp, a 59 Super Lead, of course, and they released, it was 5 pedals, I think, for NAMM. They did this one, a JCM 800, JCM 900, a DSL, and I knew I'd forget whatever the last one was. Someone will remind us in the comments, or I'll put a little picture in. But they did 5 of them. JVM, that was the last one, a JVM.
Oh, right, yeah.
So this 1959 Super Lead pedal was by far kind of the most vintage inspired. I've tried all of the pedals, and for me it sounds the best. And it basically will turn any sort of boring clean amp into an early sort of a Marshall sort of a sound. You've got the two kind of volume controls as if you were jumpering the two channels, which is great. You've got a tone control and a volume control. Very simple to dial in. It's got a lot of gain on tap as well, but it is just a great overdrive. I don't know if you've tried this one.
I haven't, no.
You
haven't
got
tried any of those.
I think it would be really, really decent for you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're on my list of things I'd like to try, but I just haven't tried any of the new Marshall stuff yet.
It's also doubly cool because it's kind of like, I love my Marshall in a box pedals, and what I never expected to say was that my favorite Marshall in a box is now made by Marshall, because it's like they didn't really have one for the longest time.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I've still got my old jackhammer pedal from back in the day, but there had been a bit of a gap, and they designed these to look pretty cool, I have to say.
Yeah,
they probably got their lifestyle people in to help design it. They're big and chunky, and they feel nice and solid. Yeah, just super cool pedals, and fairly affordable as well. Like this in Europe is about 120, 130 euros, so really not too bad. And it's a great sounding versatile pedal. Stacks really nicely. It's really nice and quiet. I can't say a bad thing about it.
I keep looking at the first bunch of reissues they did on the old, like, the big black box pedals.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've got an original Blues Breaker, and I love that, but it's so old that I literally never leaves this. It doesn't even leave this room. It doesn't go anywhere else in my house, let alone, like, on tour. But I keep looking at the new reissues of those just because I want one for gigging. I just never got around to buying one, but that's a great pedal as well.
I'd like to get a Blues Breaker and a Governor as well. But the thing about the Blues Breaker one is, like, they've made it true to the vintage pedal in that you really have to jack the volume all the way up just to get unity gain. And I kind of wish they'd modernize that in a way just to make it a bit more practical. But there you go.
Yeah, unity gain's like 3 o'clock or something, so there's not much additional headroom on top.
Yeah.
But great sounding pedal, though. But yeah, mine never leaves this room because it's an old one.
No, the old one's got to stay in there. Yeah.
I got it for a really good price, though. I got it, like, way before the market went crazy. I think I paid like £100 for it or something, like, stupid like that. I bought it at that point where everyone was just trying to get rid of them because no one really knew what they were or really cared about them anymore. Yeah. So I kind of bought one at that point. But now, the resale went a bit nuts on them. Yeah,
perfect timing, because now they're probably 3-4 times that, which is madness.
Yeah, something like that.
There you go.
Yeah. Something like that.
I wonder if the prices for those have slightly gone down again since the reissues came out. I haven't checked and I don't know, but I guess there's always going to be a market for the genuine sort of first run.
They have gone down a little bit because at one point they were kind of hovering at like the kind of 450 to 500 mark. Now they're closer to, I guess, like 350. I have noticed the prices dipped off a bit. So actually the vintage ones aren't, super unobtainable anymore. Like 350 is still a lot of money, but it's a good price for a rare vintage piece of gear. So the price has come down in that sense.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'll look out a few more of those this year, I think, because they're great pedals for sure. All right, so what's your next pedal?
So interestingly, I find this quite funny actually, because every year we seem to make quite similar gear choices on certain products without discussing it in advance. Because obviously that's one thing we don't do, is we don't talk about our choices beforehand.
Nope.
Because ironically, my next pedal is also a Marshall in a box. But mine is this one, the Thorn Soundlabs Silver Spurs.
Ooh, that's interesting. I've never heard that one. I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
They're a relatively new brand. They're based out of Nashville, but the pedals are made in China. They sent me like all their stuff a couple of months ago to check out. I've got a bunch of stuff already on the channel about their stuff, their products. But I posted a video to this last month, and this is just incredible. It's like a Silver Jubilee kind of vibe. So it's like a JCM 800 with a bit more kind of everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just super versatile. Like it can go from kind of like classic crunchy Marshall through to like super saturated, but then it's got this damping control which kind of acts as like a low end tightener, so you can really make it kind of like play like tight, percussive, kind of heavy stuff as well. It's just absolutely insane. I've used this pretty consistently for the last 2 months for every video I've done because it just sounds so good.
That sounds really promising. Why have I never heard of this pedal?
I don't know. They're a relatively new brand.
No, it's nothing to do with Pete's horn, is it?
No, nothing to do with Pete
Okay.
Thorn. No, that I know of. I'm pretty sure he's not involved with them, even though they share a name. But yeah, no, really cool company. They've only really existed for the last couple of months.
That's probably why I just haven't heard of them yet. I'll have to check them out for sure.
Yeah, they launched with like a range of like 8 or 9 pedals. There's like 6 guitar pedals or 7 guitar pedals and 2 bass pedals.
Okay,
I've got 6 of them here to choose from.
Interesting. So like they've come kind of from nowhere with a fully fledged range of pedals. Wow, that's cool.
I'm not sure if the guys behind the company have like history in the business. I mean, it would seem that they do, because they kind of launched and just had everything right. And, you know, it kind of seems like they weren't just a new company that just thought, let's just throw some pedals up and see what happens. They kind of entered the market knowing what they were doing. So I do wonder if maybe some of these guys came from somewhere else in the business. But yeah, what they're doing is very cool. And every pedal is like 150, 160, something like that. They're also, the company's based in Nashville, but in Europe, they're looked after by, I guess it's like the guys at Warwick. And like there's ties to Thomann as well.
Okay.
So like Thomann are kind of like their European distributor. But the company's based in the US, but they come through like Warwick and Thomann in Europe.
Okay.
It's a bit of a complicated network, but there's ties to Germany with the company as well.
Yeah, okay. Thorn Effects. I shall be checking them out as soon as we finish filming this video.
I'll link you up with them. I'll link you up with my contact there. They're really good guys. And yeah, the pedals are fantastic. Really having a lot of fun. This one especially is just so much fun. They've got like, what have I got? I've got like a Tube Screamer type pedal, but it's got like 8 knobs, so it's like super tweakable. I've got a compressor. I've got this. I've got fuzz. And then I've got a box next to me that I haven't even opened yet because I'm shooting the 2 videos this month of an EQ boost kind of thing and a metal distortion as well. So that'll be quite fun. But they also do a tremolo pedal as well for guitar, which I don't have.
Okay. So they're covering a lot of ground already. Yeah, there must be some sort of prior sort of music industry experience or involvement or something. I shall have to have a look into it.
Yeah, it's like, this is one of their kind of like amp in a box kind of drives, but it's like they've nailed the amp thing because they've got this headroom control as well. And what you can do is you can like adjust the headroom. So you can add like, you can either have like, you know, kind of a more compressed kind of like squishy sound, or you can change the headroom and have a very open sound with a bit less gain. So they've kind of thought about the feel of it, which is cool. Yeah,
so it's like a sag control that you might find on like a Hughes and Kettner or whatever. Yeah,
essentially the same kind of vibe. So yeah, very cool company.
Very cool, very nice choice. Very sort of off the beaten track as well. So that surprised me. So that's good. Yeah, nice. I'm going to surprise you with my next pick. I've got pedals on the deck in front of me. That's why I'm looking down there. It's not an Overdrive. It's the latest in a mini series of pedals by a German company called Nobels. And this is the MOD-mini. This is the modulation mini. Now, you'll know them from the ODR1. That's the famous pedal. There was an ODR mini overdrive. They came out last year with a delay mini, a mini delay pedal with 3 different delays in it. Fantastic pedal. Earlier this year, they came out with a chorus mini, which I also have in front of me, and which is shortlisted for this, but not quite as good as the Mod Mini, which is 3 different modulation sounds in this box. You've got tremolo, phaser, and a univibe sort of sound. It's stereo, which is great for this sort of a size. It's got tap tempo in it as well. It's just really, really good. And this is €99, so very, very affordable too. I love this pedal. It's just loads of fun. Highly recommend you try it if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, I would love to. I love every variation of a Nobels pedal I've tried, I love, but I've never actually tried a real one.
So you've tried like maybe the Wampler Bell or something like that, but not the ODR. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Wampler Bell has been in this video in previous years. Yeah.
Yeah, probably has.
Now we say it, yeah. Yeah, the ODR1 is an amazing overdrive, does that transparent thing, but it does a load more. Yeah. And I really like the fact that they're sort of going through like the rest of the pedal board at the moment. The delay is great. Yeah. There's nothing kind of crazy about the delay. It's kind of meat and potatoes, analog, digital, and tape sounds. But it does 99% of what you could ever need from a delay. Yeah. And I think with the modulation as well, like there's nothing super crazy in it. The phaser gets a bit crazy, but like it's just really musical and really useful however you use it. And with the chorus as well, like there's a flanging chorus, but two other like Boss CE2 sort of esque sounds. They just do a great job. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that they're going to come out with a reverb next year, and then they'll have covered the entire sort of pedal board in their mini format. But I'm hugely impressed with what they're doing. And in this kind of day and age where we've got these sort of digital devices where everything is in one box, I love having these kind of old school sort of ways to just having a pedal where everything is on it. There's no menu diving or anything like that. It's just super easy. Yeah,
that's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, I'd love to try some more Noble stuff. Well, any Noble stuff. I've never actually played any of the real stuff, but every variation of an ODR style pedal I've played, I've loved. So it's high up on my list. Their
stuff is definitely going to be at the NAMM show in 2026, and because you're going and I'm going, we'll go there and have a look and see what we can do.
Let's do it. I'm going to bring a big bag with me, and we'll just shove stuff in a bag and run.
Yeah, why not? I'm down.
Yeah. We'll never be invited back, but we'll have a lot of new pedals.
It'll have been worth it, I think, definitely. Yeah.
Tarnish your entire career just for a new Overdrive pedal. I'm sure guitar players have done worse before.
Yeah. So that was my choice. Have you got anything which isn't Overdrive, or are you going back to another drive pedal?
Do you know what? This year has been an Overdrive year for me. I'm literally looking at my pedals now, trying to think, but it's really, it's just been Overdrives this year that I've loved.
Every year is an Overdrive year. There's no shame in that.
The next one, admittedly, I'm torn between two pedals that I've both acquired this year, and I can't decide between them, but it's these two. The new Mad Professor cymbal and the Free the Tone Overdriveland. There we go.
I got this one on the table as well, so this is kind of a short list for me. But definitely this is a wonderful pedal. So, okay, so why are you struggling to choose between those two?
Because they're both basically Dumble in a box style pedals.
Yes.
And I like them both for different reasons. I think I marginally prefer this one, but they're both great. But when I was trying to think about which one I liked the most, I couldn't come to a conclusive decision on which one I would pick if I had a gun to my head, because I do like them both. So I was kind of, torn between the two. But these have both been very fun pedals this year as well. Yeah.
Now, I've obviously only tried the Mad Professor of those two, and it's on my list. It's a wonderful take on the Dumble, and I really like what the new Mad Professor guys are doing with Mad Professor, the way they're kind of relaunching and rebirthing the brand. So I'm always going to be down for that. There are loads of great new hand-wired pedals that they're coming out with, or kind of reiterations of the old classics, and those look and sound amazing. But anyway, the Cymbal Mark II is great. I haven't tried the other one that you've got there. It looks like it has more options. I see 2-foot switches. I see multiple extra knobs, little switches and that.
Yeah, there's a couple of different things. Like you can cascade the channels into each other and a couple of other things. So it's a bit harder to dial in. But it's got a lot of really cool sounds when you work out the right way to stack the gains in your favor. Because you can... the way it works is it kind of like... It has two channels, which are called normal and drive. And the way it works is you sort of set your normal channel, and then the drive then is like an extra gain stage you switch in. So you can use it as like a, kind of like a second layer of gain, as it were. Or you can use it as like a lead boost or that kind of thing. But there's a lot of balancing with this between like, there's like a push control and a drive control. And the difference is like the push is like how much the gain stages cascade, and the drive is how much drive it adds. So it's like you can keep the push high and the drive low for like a clean boost from one channel to the other, or you can turn the push up, the drive up, and the push down to add more gain rather than volume. So it's like, you kind of have to figure out how you want to balance the two sides. But whereas this is just kind of turn it on and it sounds good.
Yeah, I was going to say this with the cymbal, every spot is a sweet spot kind of thing. Yeah. And with With the Overdriveland, it's more like there's more options in there, and it's a case of tweaking it, and then you have an extra channel if you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a hard choice. Yeah.
I'm leaning slightly more towards the cymbal. I go back quite far with that pedal because I actually own a Mark I cymbal as well. Yeah. I bought this during the COVID lockdown. So I've had this one for like 5 years now. And yeah, so I've moved up now to the Mark II. The Mark II's quite a lot better than the Mark I.
Oh, yeah?
They've really, like, this one gets quite harsh when you push it, but they've sorted a lot of that out with the Mark II. The Mark II's a bit more open sounding. The gain is a bit smoother. But yeah, great pedal. Mad Professor did a really good job there. I really like the way the new guys over there are doing things.
Yeah, me too. I wish them all of the success in the world with it. I know, like, the world right now is a pretty difficult place, especially with pedals, but they're great guys, and they've acquired a great range and a great brand, and hopefully they can do great things with it. So there we go. Okay, so Dumble stuff. I'll see that, and I'll raise you a Dumble pedal that I haven't even played yet, and that's because I haven't built it. And that's because I promised my nephew that we're going to build it together, and I haven't seen him since. This is the JHS NOTADÜMBLÜ. And to be honest, I'm not usually the world's biggest fan of Dumble type stuff, but for my sins, I work in marketing in the musical instrument industry, and I think that JHS are kind of, with their YouTube channel and the way they do stuff like this, they are kind of maybe not head and shoulders above everyone else, but they're always at the forefront of kind of pioneering new ways to sell us the same old thing again. And the NOTADÜMBLÜ, just like the Nota clone that came out last year, is just a super cool thing, and I can't wait to build it with my nephew, and I should get to do that. Maybe by the time this video is out, I might have been able to do that. But yeah, I've heard demos of them online, and I've seen people modding them, so you have access to both of the channels via an extra foot switch as well, and that's just a great thing. And just, again, the design, kind of taking it in the sort of IKEA direction, and the videos that they produce around it, that's a wonderful thing. And I realized that I could, instead of taking it to my nephews, I could just sell this for 4 or 5 times what it's worth, because they had to stop production of these because there was a mistake in the marketing. I don't know if you heard about that, but I think basically they were referring to the wrong Dumble pedal that they'd built into the NOTADÜMBLÜ or something. There's videos about it on the JHS channel. So these were kind of ceased in production, and these are worth a lot more than they're worth now, if that makes any sense. But yeah,
you're right though. But you're right about the marketing. Like I'm very tempted to buy one of the Nota clones because they've just dropped them in a few new colors as well, which is quite cool. And you know, I've got tons of clone pedals, but I keep looking at that and I think, well, I haven't got one of those. I've even got a clone pedal that I built myself from a kit years ago. That was the first one I ever had. But just something about the JHS one is just so much more appealing. Like, I just want to buy it and put it together. And yeah, I don't know why. There's just something about it that I keep getting drawn to. And I kind of feel like I'm probably going to end up spending some money on one at some point soon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just super marketing, and they seem like great people at the brand. And it's just, you know, the fact that you don't need to solder to build these kits. You can sort of click them and screw them together in probably 10, 15 minutes if you're you. Probably an hour and a half if you're me and your small nephew. But like... that's the fun of it, you know. You can make it a communal experience, and you can say that you've built a pedal, and I just really like that about it. Yeah,
they're good fun.
Yeah, exactly. So that's also on my list. A lot of Dumble this year. Anything else pedal-wise for you?
I'm trying to think what else I've played this year. Like, I recently did a video on the new MXR Randy Rhoads pedal. It's not a new pedal as such because the original one came out last year. They've just done it in like a new color, but that was really fun. That was a really cool pedal. I've got a video on this coming out at some point soon. The NUX Amp Academy.
Ooh,
the Amp Academy Stomp. So it's a much bigger version of the previous Amp Academy. This is really cool because it's kind of like, you know, amp models, multi-effects, all that sort of stuff in one. Cab sims, everything you need in kind of one box. There's some really great sounds in here. This is a very cool pedal. And yeah, this is something that I don't think these are like super expensive. I think they're under £300, but you basically get access to, like, you know, like buying any kind of multi-effects, digital modeler, everything you need in one box, which is cool.
Yeah. And NUX stuff is always fairly affordable anyway, isn't it? So it's never going to be overpriced.
Yeah, that's really fun too. I've got a video coming out on that at some point soon.
Okay, very nice. I shall make sure to link to that. Okay, so pedals from my side then. I've got a very fun novelty one, which I also just bought myself because I couldn't resist it.
Okay.
A year or so ago, Fender came out with their pink Hello Kitty Fuzz. I didn't manage to get one. This year they came out with the black one, and I just couldn't say no because I've been in a fuzz rabbit hole for the past couple of years, and just it looks so cute, but it sounds so mean. It's a mad sounding fuzz. It's just absolutely brutal. It's an op-amp fuzz. Plug it in, turn everything up to 10, and it just goes, and it sounds absolutely massive, and it works really well with the volume control. If you ride the volume knob on your guitar, it's way better than you would expect it to be when you're buying something with Hello Kitty on the front, and it's a fuzz pedal. So I'm really, really impressed with that. Bags of fun. And if you're looking to get a similar take on this circuit, there is one in the Fender Hammertone series, their Hammertone Fuzz, which the internet would tell you is the same circuit with an added octave up switch, if you'd like to use that.
Right.
I haven't tried the Hammertone Fuzz yet, at least in detail, so I don't know if it is the same, but I shall endeavour to check that out in 2026. But that's a great fun pedal.
Yeah, that's cool. Speaking of octave ups, this is just like a bit of a fun extra mention now that you mentioned that. But a friend of mine gave me this earlier this year, which is pretty wild to look at. I am friends with this guy who runs a small pedal company from the UK. I say small, he's growing at quite a rapid rate, called Hello Sailor Pedals. And he built this octave fuzz and gave it to me earlier this year. And it's kind of like, same thing, like an octave up kind of Octavia sort of vibe. But yeah, when you mentioned the octave up, I thought this is worth a mention too, because it's just really fun. I haven't actually done a video on this, but I will at some point. But yeah, it's just really cool. But he does a lot of interesting things with his pedals. Like he wraps them in like, this is like a weird kind of, kind of Mexican Day of the Dead style. And it's like a cloth kind of finish on it, which is cool.
It's funny because when you showed that in the camera, at first I thought, is that a Flatley pedal? Because it really reminds me of that sort of vibe.
Yeah, I suppose I can see why. It's got the same sort of idea there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're both UK builders as well. I've heard a lot about Hello Sailor, but never tried one because I think in Europe they're probably a bit more difficult to come by. But yeah, maybe next year.
He sells mostly just through like his Reverb page. He's only like a one-man operation, and he just builds like whatever. Like a lot of his pedals are based around like Rangemaster style pedals. He does a lot of like Rangemaster treble booster kind of stuff. Oh yeah. But then he ventures out into like fuzz. He's got a couple of different overdrive circuits, and really cool stuff. But the cool thing with his company is he is in the Navy, hence the name Hello Sailor. So he builds a lot of the stuff at sea. So a lot of the components are like kind of like military spec, like crazy stuff. I'll send you some pictures that you can put up on the screen of the insides of some of his pedals, because the insides are like a work of art, because it's all like big components, like vintage and rare stuff. Sometimes he'll build with things that he only has like one of, and like so everything he makes is kind of unique as well. So even if he does like a run of pedals, every one is sort of slightly different. Like he writes on the bottom, like for instance, there's a sticker here that tells me that this has got an OCP71 photo transistor in it. But then if you were to buy one of these pedals, it could have a different transistor. So it's like kind of quirky stuff like that as well that he does, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. I think we're seeing a lot more kind of, I don't want to say one-man operation, but sort of smaller sort of pedal builders coming through again.
Yeah.
We have had the feeling the past couple of years, and I've seen people like Henning doing videos about it, that the pedal market is dying because everyone's going modeling. But I don't agree with that. I think it's just we're changing in the way that we sort of buy pedals and consume pedals. And I think it's never been a better time to be a guitarist who's addicted to guitar pedals, because there are so many great choices out there.
Yeah.
And you know, from stuff like Hello Sailor through to kind of the bigger sort of accepted brands like Boss and JHS, who are making great pedals at kind of high street prices. I mean, this year I would also kind of just mention as a fun sort of shortlist thing, we've seen 2 new ranges of pedals, one by Hartwood and one by Vintage, for example, where, between them, they must have over 20 different pedals and they cost about 30 to 50 pounds or euros each. You can get every different effect under the sun and they just work. And there are so many choices as a pedal playing guitarist right now. Like at the moment, this is one of the Vintage ones, the American Pie, which is like their take on a Fender amp in a box. Yeah. Really decent little pedal that you can use for an overdrive, or you can use it as an amp in a box as well. And then from Hartwood, they're very, very simple looking, but this is the Everglade delay. It's a great take on a Boss DM2 style delay pedal, and it just does the job. And those 2 pedals you'd get for well less than 100, maybe 50, 60, 70 bucks. Yeah.
Yes,
very, very cheap.
When I did my video on the JHS stuff, I think that was my favorite pedal too. There was just something about that I absolutely loved.
Yeah, really, really good pedal. Yeah. So there are so many options, and pedals is kind of my thing. And I do have a little list just of a couple that I haven't really played that I would want to just mention here that probably would be on my list had I got to do that. The first would be, the TC Plethora X1 came out this year, and I think I've played the X3. I have the X3, and it's great. I'm sure the X1 is exactly the same in single format.
I've got an X3 on my desk as well.
Yeah, exactly. Any effect under the sun, basically. Yeah. Then there was the Chase Bliss Brothers AM, which is kind of like their collaboration with Analog Man to make a Chase Bliss Analog Man King of Tone sort of pedal. You're a King of Tone owner. I'm a King of Tone owner. We both need to try that pedal at some point for sure.
I really want that because I've got a King of Tone. I've got the Prince and the Duke. So I need the brother as well.
Got to complete the royal collection. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the royal flush.
Yeah, exactly. And with the Chase Bliss one, it's like you can do your presets and stuff as well. So it's going to give you extra flexibility while staying analog. Cool. So yeah, that looks like a great pedal. So hopefully next year maybe we can track one of those down.
I'm staring at my pedal collection just in case I've missed anything.
I'll keep staring. There's a couple of other Boss pedals that I would have wanted to try this year. The RT2, the new rotary, just looks great, has a great display, sounds great in all the videos I've seen. Then there's the new polyshifter pedals, the XS1 and the XS100. Cool. The XS100 is kind of Boss's take on the Whammy pedal by Digitech. Those look great in the videos. I've heard that they may indeed have a faster response, a lower latency than the Digitech. So looking forward to trying those out.
That's cool.
And finally, it's always a long list with me with the pedals. I'm a huge fan of Greer amps. I love their Lightspeed. I love their Black Mountain Crunch. I picked up the Southland this year, used, and that is a wonderful pedal. But they've just come out with another JFET transistor overdrive pedal called the Mizuki Blue, which sounds great, and I'm looking forward to trying one of those next year. So I've
never tried any of their stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I've never
start with the Lightspeed and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard great things, just never got around to actually playing any.
You'd love the Lightspeed. It's magic.
I've been told that by a few people.
It's a wonderful pedal, and I know that you love your kind of bluesy Mayer sort of stuff. It just you can just use it to add a bit of sparkle and grit, and it's a pedal that always just makes me sound better than I sounded when it wasn't on, no matter like what I'm doing. Sometimes you don't even notice that it is on, but then you turn it off and you realize what it was doing, sort of thing. So yeah, you got to try that. Hopefully at NAMM next year you can test one out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah. So that's my pedal list. Anything else on your wall that inspires you?
I think that's kind of been it, really. I'm kind of glancing around now. Yeah, that's probably the main ones for me. I'm trying to think if I've put anything on my pedal board recently that is new, but I don't think I have. Yeah, that's probably me covered for pedals for the year.
Okay, well, that was a good list anyway.
Overdrive heavy year.
As it will be next year, I'm sure. So let's move on. Yeah. So let's move on to amps then. I know you're more into amps at the moment than I am.
Yeah.
What's been on your amp shortlist this year?
Two big ones for me. First one is this thing here, which isn't the clearest in the video, but I'll send you some close-ups of all the stuff I talk about. That is the PRS HDRX 20.
I watched your video about that.
Yeah, so that is, again, kind of a I don't want to say an accidental purchase because I knew I was buying it, but I wasn't really looking for it until I saw it for the price that it was, and then I thought, yeah, I can't really miss that. I've been looking at them for ages. I quite like Marshall style amps, and in the last year, I've really gotten back into that kind of hot rodded plexi sound, and I'd watched a bunch of videos on the HDRX, and it's Paul Reed Smith and his team got access to Jimi Hendrix's Woodstock amp, and they took it apart, kind of reverse engineered it, and they built the HDRX 50 and 100, which are the American built ones, which are like $2,500. But then they also released this one, which is made in, I guess, China. I could be wrong about that, but it's made in Asia somewhere, which is a 20-watt one. But it's basically just like a single channel plexi style amp, like the Hendrix thing. It's got like a master kind of like a master volume for each of the gain stages. So you've got like a treble gain and a bass gain. So you can dial in, kind of like the jumper cables, but you can kind of dial them in. Very versatile, like kind of, yeah, classic 60s, 70s Marshall sort of sound. But yeah, fantastic amp. I really love that thing.
I remember your video, and was it like 300 or 350 pounds you paid for that or something?
Yeah, $399 they were selling them off for.
$399. Yeah.
I don't know why they were selling them for that price, but they were, and I ended up buying one for that reason. There's
been a lot of PRS stuff that's been priced really, really well the past couple of years. I remember Peach had an amazing deal on, I don't even know the model name of the guitar, but it was kind of, it's their model that has a piezo bridge in it. It's one of the SE models, and it's normally well over €1,000 here, and it's it was about 600 in this offer. I'll put the model up on screen or something.
Is it like the SE, like the SE hollow body or something?
Yes, the SE hollow body. That's exactly the one. Yeah, that one. They had an amazing deal on that. We've seen so many deals on Silver Skies, especially the SE Silver Skies over the past couple of years. And the PRS pedals in Europe are always heavily, heavily discounted. You know, the Horse Meat, and is it the Wind Cries Mary, and those ones, Yeah, I really want to try those. Apparently they're great. Yeah, quality-wise, they're supposed to be really, really good. But I just, I'd be interested to know why they're on sale perpetually, seemingly. Yeah.
I just wonder if it's one of those things, like maybe people just don't expect pedals from PRS. So maybe it's just the product line that just didn't really like kind of resonate with people.
Yeah, it could be that, yeah.
But I suppose to a degree you could say the same thing about the amps, because whenever people see that amp, they always say, oh, I didn't know PRS made amps. And PRS have made loads of amps over the years. But I guess it's just, you just know the guitars. It's not common knowledge that they're also amp builders and pedal builders.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely more well known for their guitars than their amps. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Interesting. So that was your first big amp. What was the other one?
Yeah. Where is it? On the camera. the Supro Airwave. I haven't actually done a video of that yet because I've only had it for about a month, but I absolutely am obsessed with it. It's just like, there's just, you know, sometimes when you play something and it's just got this like instant magic to it, that amp has that.
Yeah.
It's as soon as I turned it on, it was like, oh yes, okay, I can see what I wanted from this amp straight away. And it sounds great. I've used it at like a bunch of rehearsals. It sounds great at volume, but it also works great in the studio. I think it's like maybe like 30 watt, 40 watt, something like that. But it's got a built-in 2 notes output. So it's got 12 2 notes IRs loaded onto it as well, which is really cool.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like the Captor X.
Yeah.
So, but it's really cool because it comes preloaded with 12 Supro speaker IRs. But you can change it basically the 2 Notes app works with it. So you can load any of your 2 Note stuff into that amp as well. Currently, I haven't changed it just because I haven't shot my video. But once I've shot my video, I'm going to start putting my own IRs in it as well.
Ah, nice. That's cool because Supro is such a traditional brand. And to hear that they now have amps with built-in IRs and stuff like that, it's great because they're moving with the times. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
It's still a fully valve amp, but it's just got that extra kind of thing. So it's got like, it's 2 channels, it's got like a boost, it's got reverb, it's got tremolo, but then also it's got the IR side of it, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
And there's a switch on the back where you can turn the speaker off, so you could run it silently if you wanted to as well. which is how I've got it set up for videos. I've got the amp silent and just running the IRs. But then when I use it in rehearsal, I'll have obviously the speaker on for maximum fun.
Yeah. Nice. That's two great choices. Yeah, two big amps indeed. For me, I've only really got one amp this year, and it's a baby, literally, because it's the orange Tour Baby. Now these came out at NAMM. They released a trio of these. They're solid state, sort of rack friendly. There's a Tour Baby. I guess you're pulling something out of your bag down there. Yeah,
the same one. It's just in the bag. I literally have my video on this is going live tonight. The day that we're filming this.
Perfect timing. So yeah, there's a Tour Baby, a Gain Baby, and a Jewel Baby. I have the Tour Baby. Which one do you have?
Same, Tour Baby.
The Tour Baby. Yeah, I guess you would gravitate more towards that as well, because this is it's 100 watts, solid state, but you've got two channels, a clean channel, and the clean channel has a compressor in it, a VCA type compressor, which makes it really nice and squishy.
Yeah.
The crunch channel is just orange, kind of gainy, rocky sort of stuff, and it's a really versatile little thing. And these are very cheap as well. Like probably not much more than the PRS that you bought. Probably about 400, 500 pounds or euros.
Yeah, they're in that price point, aren't they? They're very, very affordable, very good amps. I did a video at Gear Street with Colin Scott, and we went through the three of them. It was kind of like a journey of discovery for me. To decide which one, because basically I couldn't decide which one I wanted to film an in-depth video on. So Charlie from Orange said to me, well, why don't you make a video with all three and then pick your favourite one and then do a proper video on that. So at Gear Street, me and Colin got all three of them, plugged them into a cab, and we turned them up pretty loud. Apparently you could hear us from outside the studio. They were pretty cooking in that room. But then when I left there, the Tour Baby was the one that kind of clicked with me the most.
Yeah. I guess Charlie from Orange did a decent job, as he always does, because I actually did the same kind of thing. Like I went into a room with Karsten Stepanovic, and we did a video with all three of them where we checked them all out, and I think he ended up loving the Jewel Baby. Could have been the Gain Baby, and for me I chose the Tour Baby because I'm more of a clean sort of pedal platform sort of a guy. But yeah, that was my first time playing those three amps, and to get to play them together and kind of feel and experiences the differences, that was really, really good. And that is just a really sort of decent, no frills sort of an amp, and it is, I would definitely say, more dictated more towards the world of a live player, which for me at the moment is not as relevant, but I will find a use for it. And the clean tones on it are fantastic. So watch out for videos for me in early 2026. Yeah. And I'll link to yours.
I was torn between that and the Dual Baby, because the Dual Baby had the clean channel and the higher gain channel.
Yes.
So the thing that it came down to for me was I preferred the sound of the lower gain channel turned up more than I liked the sound of the higher gain channel turned down, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So it was actually the gain side of it that swung it for me.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, the amount of gain which is on the gainy channel of this amp is more than enough. Anyway,
it's plenty.
Yeah, exactly. And for anything else, I'd use my Rev G3 pedal or something like that. So it just did the job. Yeah, but really, really cool amps, really fun, and would recommend.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, that's the only analog amp that I've played personally this year, new, where I wanted to put it on this list. Which makes amps a pretty quick section for me this year. Although I have a couple of things which are kind of digital and sort of could be amps, or they could be something else, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Okay.
But what about you? Do you have any more amps that you'd like to mention that you've played this year?
Those are probably the main ones. That's probably it for me for amps, really. Yeah.
So from my side, then it goes more into kind of like amps that I would want to maybe own if I get the chance.
Yeah.
One that I've played a few times now, which is actually a digital option. It's the Tone King Imperial preamp, which is kind of, their sort of half analog, half digital take on the Tone King. It's about $500-600. It has built-in reverb and tremolo, 2 channels of tone, built-in IRs and all that kind of stuff, and it just sounds and feels great. Don't know if you've tried one of those.
I haven't. No, I'm trying to think if I've ever played anything Tone King. I guess it would only be times I've tried it at Gear Street, but I've never spent any considerable time with anything from them.
Yeah, exactly. The Imperial is just a great sort of luxury boutique amp. Amazing clean tones, amazing crunch tones too, and they've really kind of distilled that down into the preamp. It just, again, this is part of my journey going from like analog to digital and being kind of convinced by the response and the feel of a digital amp. And yeah, this one just works really well for me. So hopefully I'll try and track one of those down in the new year and get some stuff done with that. So that's a really good one. And kind of from that, I would go to something which I'm not sure you would call it an amp or what you would call it. Maybe it's just a modeler thing. But this year the ToneX Plug came out. And I don't know, again, if you're familiar with this, but this is kind of a little plug-in amplifier version of the ToneX. So if you've got a ToneX 1 or a ToneX pedal, or you use ToneNet, you've now got a plug-in tiny little amplifier that you can plug into your guitar, use it with headphones. The entire ToneNet software, that whole sort of ecosystem of tones and captures is in there. That's another sort of, that's kind of a game changer. That word is bandied round way too often by the likes of us, but that kind of is, you know?
I've seen it and I know what it is, but I haven't tried one. But I'm familiar with the rest of the ecosystem. Like I've done a lot of stuff with Amplitude and obviously ToneX as well. I've got a ToneX 1 myself, but I haven't tried the plug yet.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Like I've tried the plug very briefly at a show and it was great. But I know that because it's basically the same as the ToneX 1, just in a different physical format, that it's going to do the job. So hopefully I'll get to try one of those and really get to grips with it. But it's everything you could need in a package about this big, and it's cheap, you know, it's super affordable. So yeah. Imagine if you'd had access to one of those when you were a kid, as we also say in every video.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I've got a similar product that's on my digital world, which is this thing, which is the Blackstar version, which is the Blackstar Beam Solo.
This was this was the year of the amp plugs, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Same idea. Plugs into your guitar. There's an app that goes with it. Different presets in here. Tons of amp models. When this launched, it was only Blackstar amps, but right before the official public launch, they did like a big update and they added like there's like a Marshall variant on there. There's a Vox. There's like a Mesa Boogie, like all the classic stuff as well as Blackstar stuff. But yeah, it's the same idea. It's got effect pedals. It's got, you know, cab sims, IRs, the lot.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, so is it an amp? Technically, I don't know, but it's got amps in it, so we'll count it as that. Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, arguably yes, but also it's not a traditional amp, but you could use it. You probably wouldn't use it for a gig, but you could use it to record. You know, you could easily make YouTube videos with it. You could use it at home. So it fills the purpose of what an amp could be.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And do you remember back in the day you used to get from other manufacturers like Vox and even brands like Vintage, they did their own little amp plugs where you got stuff like that. They were very, very primitive compared to what you get now, but they were fun.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love those things. They probably sound awful if you plug them back in again today, but like back in the day, they were so practical. And that's exactly what these are, but with so many great sounds and features as well. Yeah.
I've still got like one of those early 2000s, like a Zoom 505 here somewhere, which is like very primitive amp modeling. And every time I see it, it's in one of the cupboards here somewhere. Every time I see it, I think I'll plug this in soon and just see how long or how far the technology's come. But I'm afraid to, because I have this kind of nostalgia with it, whereas I remember how much I loved it when I was younger.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil that by hearing it now and thinking, oh, that sounds awful. But when I was younger, it was the best sound I could ever imagine. So I don't want to spoil that as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You don't want to be disappointed by it because you view it through these sort of rose-tinted glasses, and it's like, if you did plug it in and it just sounded awful, which it probably doesn't. It probably sounds all right, but you'd be disappointed. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm afraid because amp modeling's got so good, is it going to ruin like what I loved when I was younger? Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense. I've seen a few people like Ola England make videos where they take out one of the first sort of generations of a pod and try that out. And they do kind of sound decent if you dial back the presets a bit. You know, obviously the presets always come with way too much of whatever effect is on them because they want to showcase what they can do. But if you wind everything down a bit, I'm sure it would sound good. Yeah.
Yeah, probably would.
Yeah.
Probably would, to be fair.
Yeah. So there you go. That's that's amps covered. I mean, the one other one that I would mention that I tried this year briefly and is on my shortlist is the Engel Fireball IR preamp. So this is an Engel, it's digital, it's a preamp pedal, it has IRs in it as well, so you can do the same thing as you can do with the ToneX and all that kind of stuff, but it's in a pedal format. And this is a really nice sounding pedal, but because it's an Engel product, it's really kind of, I would say, mostly focused towards people who play high gain stuff. It's got a great clean channel on it too, but for me, like, I felt like I wasn't using the maximum out of it, if you know what I mean. But it's great in terms of quality, feels great, sounds really good, really decent tonal response. So can highly recommend that one as well. Yep.
Okay, that's cool. I haven't tried one of those yet.
You should. I've said that about 10 times to you. You've got a big shop in this after this video. Yeah,
I shall endeavour to. It's going to be a busy NAMM show, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, exactly. Yeah. I wonder if Engel are going to be at NAMM. I got to speak to them, but usually they are.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah. I spoke to someone at Engel recently, and they told me they were.
Okay, cool, good. Okay, so that's amps out the way, and as if this video already wasn't long enough, I've added a separate little section about digital stuff, modeling gear or whatever, because I have a couple of things that I think fit into there. And the first one would have been the ToneX Plug. I mean, because that kind of is a modeler sort of thing.
Yeah.
The next thing would be the big one that's come out this year. That's the Helix Stadium. And as you've already said, you didn't get to play one yet this year, but I got to play one briefly at Guitar Summit, and it feels like an upgrade to the original Helix.
Okay.
Not like as hugely different as maybe I would have expected, but 20 minutes on the floor at a trade show is not the ideal location to try it. But that box just has so many different options. And I think for live bands looking to program a show around it, because it can do stuff like lighting and stuff like that as well, and change your whole show and stuff like that. So I think that could be where that one's going. Very, very expensive, in my opinion, if you're looking at like, 2,000 or whatever for a modeler. But for them to upgrade the Helix this year, I think is it was the right time to do it. And I think, the fact that Line 6 has always been great at following through with products. They carry on sort of looking after users for so long. So if you buy a Stadium now, you're going to be sorted for years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean, you got 10 years of consistent upgrades with the regular Helix, which I imagine they're probably still going to drip out some upgrades for, I would suspect. So, yeah, no doubt the Helix Stadium will be supported for many, many years. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. And from the huge and the ridiculous to the tiny, this is the Sonicake Pocket Master, which is...
I've heard so many good things about those.
Yeah, and it's been all over YouTube, and these cost about $50, but it is kind of... Wow. It's nothing like a Helix, but it's got a bunch of effects and amps and so on and so on in this one little box. You can save presets, it's stereo, it's got a tuner, a looper, built-in drum machine and so on. And it's battery powered. You can take it everywhere, just play it with a cable and with headphones and you're good. And it sounds really, really decent as well. So this is just loads of fun. Great practice tool.
What more do you need?
Yeah. You wouldn't gig with it, but you could put it on a pedal board or something. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, you probably could, yeah. I suppose like the NUX Amp Academy that I showed, like that's kind of in this same ballpark, isn't it? Because obviously this is it's an amp modeler really. It's not a pedal as such, even though it is in pedal format, but it is essentially part of the modeling world as well.
Yeah. I mean, these days there are so many different digital options that will just like get you to where you need to be depending on what your individual use case is. And I think so many players these days have different sort of unique use cases, what they want from a pedal or from a device, that these days you can really just pick the one that works for you. And if you've got 50 to spend, or if you've got $2.5 grand for the Helix with everything else, then you can do that.
Yeah, there's options for everyone, isn't there? That's the cool thing. I really like that there are companies though, like Sonicake, like NUX, that have made that modeling technology so much more affordable for people. Because, if you're going to, even to buy a second-hand Generation 1 Helix now, people are still selling them for £750, £800. It's still an investment. If you've never got into the modeling world before, that's still quite a lot of money to outlay, even though it's a discount on the retail price. But, you might think, I don't want to spend £800 just to try it and not like it. Whereas you could spend 50 quid and see pretty quickly if that kind of world is for you, which is quite cool.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting time to be in the modeling world. And for the first time ever, I'm going to include a plugin in this video. Crazy, I know, 2025.
You've gone fully digital.
I know, right? And I never expected to even have tried this at the time, but I went to Henning's the other week and I got to try the Universal Audio Paradise Guitar Studio, which is kind of a plug-in version of a number of their amp-in-a-box pedals. You'll probably know stuff like the Woodrow and the Lion and so on. 5 or 6 of them are in there.
I know of them, but the only one I've ever played is the 5150 style one. I can't remember the name of it.
The Anti, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I've played that one. But that's literally the only Universal Audio product I've ever laid hands on.
Okay, so that one is not in the Paradise Guitar Studio. That one and the Knuckles, which is their Mesa Boogie sort of sound, those are not in the Paradise Guitar Studio. I suspect they will add them at some point, but all of their other options are in there. Lots of their effects pedals are in there. It's basically a great way to just get a great guitar sound going. And what really surprised me about the Paradise Studio is that it feels really good as well. Like there was no lag, no latency, and it just straight away felt like a real guitar. And that's something that's been scaring me so much since I got the ToneX One and realized that you don't need an analog amp to do that. You can do it with digital stuff as well. And with the plug-in, like you're literally playing your computer, you know, but it just sounds and feels great. And I was 100% convinced with it in kind of the first 15 or so minutes that I used it. And Henning sat me down with a camera in his little editing office, which you know, and I did a video on it, just sort of exploring it live. And it just, you know, you go through a few of the presets and they're already there. They're bang on. They just sound so good. It feels great. I think it costs around 150 euros, $150 at the moment, which, I mean, for a plug-in, it feels like a lot of money. But at the same time, you're getting digital versions of so many of their amp pedals, plus other effects, you know, compressors and delays and reverbs and so on, that it definitely feels like, at least for me personally, like a new avenue for me to pursue. So expect me to go down the plug-in route next year, I suppose. Yeah.
But I suppose, though, you say it's quite a lot of money, but then if you look at the pricing of things like Amplitube, like if you buy the full version of Amplitube with all of the expansion packs and everything else, I mean, I haven't checked the price recently, but at one point that was going for like the best part of £500.
Yes.
If you look at all the Neural plugins are about the £150, £200 mark, I guess. You know, Guitar Rig, I'm not sure what that retails for these days, but that's probably in the same ballpark. So, you know, but people are spending that kind of money, and we would spend that kind of money on an Overdrive pedal without thinking twice about it. So why wouldn't you spend that money on one product that gives you access to 100 different sounds?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think for me personally, a lot of that is down to the fact that the plug-in world or the digital world for me has always had a slightly bad rap compared to the analog world because of the shortcomings of it. You know, the technology has improved so much, but, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, like there was latency and they didn't sound decent and they could do clean or mega distortion, but it was those kind of really nice sort of sparkly edge of breakup tones that it didn't master and that. But now it can. Yeah. And at the same time, there are so many free plugins that I think a lot of people struggle to see why they should pay 150. You know, you can get GarageBand for free, and there are so many great sounds in there. They're a level down or 2 levels down from what you can get in the Paradise Guitar Studio, but you're getting that for nothing. So 150 is not nothing in that sense. And I'm just playing devil's advocate there because I 100% agree with you that it's more than worth it. But I've seen comments on my own video about this latest UA plugin that people are coming from that sort of perspective, which I also totally understand. So,
yeah, it makes sense. I understand it from both sides as well. I'm still I like digital stuff and I appreciate where the technology is going and what it can do, but I'm still a little bit of a digital skeptic. I just like analog stuff too much. I think that's the problem. I like when I like doing this. I don't like doing this with a mouse. Like it's different. I like the tactile feel of actually being able to change something.
It's totally the same for me. But that's again also why the ToneX One has been such a, to say it again, game changer for me, because you have the kind of real pedal-like knobs on that. And I've actually done a couple of sort of blind tests this year with like fuzz pedals and with blues driver type pedals, where I've had 3 analog pedals and I've had a ToneX capture of those pedals in there and people can only hear what I'm playing, and I reveal at the end which was which. And you can see from the comments, and I can tell from my own personal hands-on experience, that the ToneX is doing a really, really good job. And like, you might be able to hear the differences subtly when you're going between A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
But if you're in a band setting, if you're at a live show, or if you're in a mix, is anyone ever going to pick up on that? I don't know.
No. Probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not at all.
So it's a tough one, but yeah, I'm an analog nomad, and I'm kind of happy with that in many ways as well. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've always just preferred the more tactile response. It's the same reason though that, like, you know, when I'm working on music, I mix with a control surface because I like faders. I don't like clicking things.
Yeah.
I've got I've got a monitor controller to control the volume of the output of things because I don't like going into menus the more things I can manipulate, the more kind of I feel comfortable in the process. So I think that's the biggest thing that stops me going digital, is I like being able to actually reach out and make adjustments to things.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And you see a lot more like, you know, around FOH and lighting and stuff these days. So many of the desks are digital these days, and you'll see people walking around the venue doing stuff on iPads to get the sound in. And that is a new way of doing it. But if you come from the old school way of physically, you know, moving faders, twisting knobs and so on, I guess it's just hard to make that change. And I'm in the process right now of kind of maybe even forcing my mind slightly to accept that change, because it is kind of the future. You know, in the same way as like AI is the present and the future. Yeah. And I'm also a bit skeptical about that, because I'm a writer and a journalist, and it's kind of doing things that I spent many years training to be able to do, and it's doing them at the click of a button. But
yeah, I get what you mean.
We've got to move with the times, I guess, is the kind of conclusion.
My digital compromise, I guess, is that I use the Captor X for everything. So I don't mic real cabinet speakers in the studio anymore unless I'm doing something specific. Pretty much for the last 4.5 years, every video has been through the Captor X. So that's kind of my digital compromise, I guess, is that I'm no longer using real speakers. I'm using IRs. But other than that, I'm still like real amps, real pedals, you know, all that stuff. That's all still real stuff.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, because load boxes is an area where I think no one's really negative about it in terms of the analog versus digital thing. Something like the aux box or the two notes, they're just accepted and they're used everywhere. And no one ever says, this is just a digital thing, but they are. It's kind of odd. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not a real speaker, is it? It's an impulse response of a real speaker, but I'm not actually playing through the physical speaker and capturing it through a microphone. I'm using a predetermined parameter of sound capture. So yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
But somehow we don't think of that as being the same as using an amp sim.
No.
Which is weird. It is weird.
Yeah, I guess we pick and choose what works for us, because we're humans at the end of the day. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think that was a pretty decent list of the best of the gear that we've played this year. It's been a decent year.
Yeah.
I did think when I was building the list, particularly the amp section, I thought, I haven't really played much new this year that surprised me. But you've had a couple of great choices, and there are things out there that I guess neither of us has tried. So if you're watching this list is by no means a comprehensive list of all the new gear that's come out. It's just what Leigh and I have been able to play. There's a whole lot of stuff that we haven't as well.
Give us a shopping list for NAMM, because we're both going to be at NAMM in January. So give us a list of things that we need to go and play.
Yes,
that can be our goal for NAMM. Let's build a list of things that we and you need to check out, and we'll make like a NAMM vlog of us checking out all of those things.
Yeah, that's
give us
a cool
shopping
idea.
List in the comments.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, we'll make that video if we get the chance. Yeah, really good idea.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll find the time.
We'll make the time. Exactly. Yeah.
So
that was all of the gear. Is there anything not guitar gear related from 2025 that was a highlight for you that you'd want to mention here that we should know about?
I mean, it's been a pretty busy year. I mean, I've done like a lot of touring. What else have I done this year? Do you know what? I've been so busy this year, I can't actually remember what I've done. I spent a lot of time on the road, been to a lot of concerts. One thing that I have done recently, which will be available by the time this video goes out, is I've just finished a new guitar course, which is going to be completely free, which is designed for people who are brand new to playing guitar to learn the basics in a week. It's called the 7-Day Guitar Kickstarter. So if there's anyone watching this that wants to learn guitar, that's a completely free resource that I've put together. That's something I've had a lot of fun doing this year. But yeah, it's just been a very, very busy year. Just keeping up with everything. Like the YouTube channel's been very busy this year, which is great. It's kind of growing and, you know, being more of a, I don't want to use the word time commitment because that sounds like a negative thing, but I've had a lot of my time has been focused on growing that as well. But yeah, it's been a good year though overall. Lots of music, lots of gigs, lots of touring, lots of videos, lots of guitar.
Yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
Started out really good with NAMM in January. And then we had, you weren't there for it, but the Ibanez Guitar Festival at their German headquarters. That was great. They had a museum of like hundreds of old Ibanez guitars. There were plenty of YouTubers showed up, plenty of musicians. There were concerts. Paul Gilbert was there and so on. So that was a great time. I believe that you went to a similar Ibanez UK version where you got to play some guitars and stuff anyway, but there wouldn't have been Paul Gilbert
wasn't
and
there
wouldn't have been a museum. Nah, shame.
But I was invited to the Ibanez event in Germany, and I told Dan that I would go because I was free that weekend. Because originally I told him I couldn't go because we had a gig booked. Then that gig got cancelled or moved. I can't remember which. So I told Dan I can now come. So he booked me in to go to it. And then our tour manager added another show at the last minute. So then I had to tell Dan, sorry, Dan, I can't come now because now I am going back on tour again on the same day. So yeah, I unfortunately miss it, but it seemed like it was a great day.
That was a great day out, yeah. I have a feeling they won't do one in 2026 because it was an awful lot of work for them, I'm sure. But I would love it if they did. And you should definitely come if they do another one.
I shall endeavour to.
Yeah, on that note, do you have anything planned for 2026? What can we expect from Leigh Fuge next year?
More of the same, really. Obviously, I've got my new course coming out. I'm looking to really grow my online guitar school. I'm making a big effort to do a lot more educational content on YouTube. That's one of my big focuses for next year. I come from an educational background anyway, and I want to double down on doing a lot more of that stuff. Kind of, you know, I enjoy helping people learn, and yeah, I want to put a big chunk of my time into that, kind of growing that and seeing that kind of flourish. I've already got pretty much a full diary of tour dates for the year, which is fun. And I will, at some point in 2026, be releasing some new music with a band as well. So that'll also be fun.
Very cool. Looking forward to that. I will put links to everything down there that we've talked about. It's going to be a lot of links, but click through to the ones that you'd like to go to. Check Leigh out if you haven't already, but I'm assuming if you watch these videos, you know exactly who he is. I hope you enjoyed our list of the best gear from 2025, but as we've said, leave us your suggestions and tell us what we should check out at NAMM 2026. Stick with both of our channels throughout the next year because there is going to be a lot more coming. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.